Well, welcome everybody to the World of Ability Podcast Network. My name is Emily Gomer and I'm a podcast engineer here, and we're excited to be launching a new podcast called Choose Greater Health. They're on Paige Speers that we are going to be having the first and third Friday of the month, and um, so it's nothing. So yeah, we've met Paige last just very recently here, and so with nothing further to do, I am gonna bring Paige in here. So welcome, Paige.
Thank you, Emily. Great to be here.
So um, this is exciting, starting a whole new show for the network here.
Yeah,
So so the podcast is Choose Your Health. Like, how did you um So I guess maybe first start off, how about we everybody, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit, say a little bit about who you are, what you do.
yeah. Well, I live in Fulton, Missouri. It's in the middle of the state, and I started Choose Greater Health, my LLC business, with the idea of connecting other brain injury survivors like myself and their caregivers with functional and integrative medical professionals who can provide additional resources and support when standard medicine has reached its limits. And this all came from my own survival of blood clots in my lungs that caused oxygen deprivation brain injury when I was 32 in 2016. And that's a lot to deal with on its own. And then standard medicine did save my life, and additional integrative medical resources have brought me into thriving.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Um, so um, so like how did so I guess the like so with the whole your whole brain injury, is that kind of what spurred this, or what kind of inspired the whole
Yeah,
this
yeah.
whole thing?
Yeah, and also what I'm thinking caused the blood clots was 12 years of combo hormonal birth control and anti-anxiety medications that
Oh,
built up in my system. And I had a gene site test done, well, too late to be of much help in 2016, and that showed metabolic level incompatibilities between the medications and just how my body was processing them or not. And there was a propensity there to cause blood clots as a side effect. So, and what actually put the anxiety in a permanent remission that I'd been dealing with for 10, 12 years before that was changing my diet and 8 months of twice weekly neurofeedback. And that was a therapeutic option that involved putting electrodes on my scalp and running those with wires to a TV where there would be movies and specific protocols set up, and the screen would go darker or get brighter as my brain responded to the protocols. And that's really all I know about neurofeedback per se from personal experience. And also just better nutrition. I've been working on that at least since 2018, and that also got me off of the rest of the anti-anxiety medications for good. And although it was chiropractic adjustments that also helped me stop taking the muscle relaxers that I was on because I had really bad lower left leg spasms and that went into my foot that started after I'd been home from the rehab facility for a week, and that was about 6 weeks after the injury. And that was something like developmental movement pathways that had gotten disrupted in my brain and sending uh, uh, erroneous signals into my feet, to put it simply. So I did have to negotiate learning to walk again, more or less, in that capacity. And also, what's helped with that, in addition to neurofeedback a little bit, was functional neurology and neuromovement. And that really had a lot to do with rewiring my brain pathways and introducing movement that my brain had a concept of. And I've been able to relax more easily and build on it.
Oh, here I'm talking mute. So kind of leading up to it, did you have like any signs or symptoms, or was it just kind of like all this a sudden thing that happened, or
Relatively sudden. I was a bit short of breath, and well, this was told to me later also, that I said I felt dizzy and weird, and I had just enough time to call my now husband, Sean, before I blacked out at my office. Thankfully, I was with coworkers in the mailroom who did CPR and called an ambulance.
well, that's scary.
Hmm.
But uh, I'm glad there are people around.
Yeah,
I noticed you were like right away and not
yeah.
like leaving you for whatever a while, and it
And that's
could have been a lot worse.
and uh, I'm on. I take out a blood thinner, uh, supposedly for life. It's zero, and I'm also now working on an herbal protocol that can work around that and reduce the side effects of blood thinners. And that is another thing that's been covered in talks by the National Blood Clot Alliance, where there are topics like for women on blood thinners who haven't gotten to menopause yet, and um, things like increased risk of bleeding. And I'm also taking additional iron supplements.
So this might be slightly changed here, but the choose greater health, like how did we come up with that name for like your organization or what you're doing?
It's really more or less also a motto of the business, that there are more choices available than people might get at first or realize that there are. And I like bringing more choices in for everyone.
Yeah, that's important.
Hmm.
And the more choices you have, the better.
Hmm.
Um, um, so kind of what led to, I mean, certainly just met you. Like, I mean, I know we brought it up, but what intrigued you or brought about doing this podcast, or what made you decide you wanted to do this podcast that we're doing right now?
2018 was the first time I was a guest on a podcast, and I really got interested in speaking at that point, and that's what I want to do, and that's how I can best share my message, and I can do that even more effectively now online.
Right? Let's see. So let's see here. So from I understand you're also like an author as well.
Yeah, and I'm working on a book. The working title so far is I Chose Greater, and it will include the interviews with the functional and integrated medical professionals like I'll have on the show. And so far, I have a number of interviews already, and I'm still looking for a few more. And I'm also uh, considering working on a collaborative book called Through the Fire.
What would that be about?
hmm And my section on that would be about courage and resilience. That's the theme of the book in navigating the injury and recovery.
Oh, so they kind of like telling your story, more or less.
Yeah. Yeah, sharing a little bit of it there too.
Oh, okay. I'm guessing your story and then resources.
Yeah. And I will also include links and information about how to connect with the providers I'll feature in my book.
So,
It's in the prescriptive memoir genre.
so, so what would the first book be? Or is it the same, or is it the same book?
Similar things. My book will be a collaboration of myself and other medical professionals, and
Okay.
then the other book would be a chapter that I would write for another book.
Oh, okay. I see. Uh, so as far as um speaking, have you gone like around many places to speaking events, or
A
is
lot
it
of
just
different
in
online shows
Missouri or?
and podcasts mostly so far. Although I
Oh,
would like to be a featured speaker at a brain injury or functional medicine type conference. And I also have a book distribution idea in mind of offering my book for sale in quantity to a brain health or functional medicine conference coordinator as attendee gifts.
interesting. Um,
And for anyone interested in getting in touch with me now, I have a Facebook group that I'm using as my current community landing place, and that can be included in the show notes later.
yeah, sounds good. Um, let me see what other comments. I think we do have somebody else on here. Would you like to bring Kieran as Paige, or do you have anything else you like to say at the moment? Kieran, are you there? Let me see here. Um, so like what, like for your books, like when were you, um, you're currently working on them, like when were you looking to have, like put them out or publish them?
The
Is
launch
it?
of the book that I would contribute to is planned for, I think, late spring or summer. And then my book, I'm more or less working on it as we speak with the transcripts. And that, I don't have an end completion date for that yet. Although community building along the way is always good.
Yeah. So, um, so your brain injury recovery resource concierge, like what what does that mean exactly? Is it just like providing resources or
It's a title I came up with for myself that I could also offer one-on-one to my initial beta community members of matching them with resources and providers that would fit their unique situation.
all right. So, and so in terms of like integrative, uh, integrative like wellness modalities, can you explain that a little bit? Like, what would that involve?
The additional options that I've come across, like chiropractic adjustments, neurofeedback, myofascial, and neuro movement work, and therapeutic horseback riding, and functional neurology. I've benefited a lot from all of those in combination, in addition to standard therapy.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah. That's also uh, good. Yeah. So like putting like people in touch with those
Yeah,
people if they're interested.
yeah. I've also made a few connections informally already with connecting my brain injury support group facilitator with my functional neurologist. And I've brought him and my therapeutic horseback riding instructor to our group as guest speakers.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. And I also found the brain injury support group facilitator who was a somatic movement professional, and she had a flyer up about an event at my Reiki provider's office.
Well then. Um, so it sounds like I love good connections there.
Yeah,
Um, and so 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 um so like what were you I word this question. Um so I mean there was the like time before your brain injury and now after the since the brain injury. Um yeah, like what were you doing like before the brain injury? Like how did this
yeah.
that kind
I
of
started out in college as an equestrian major. I'd been taking a lot of horseback riding lessons even before that, and finished my BA in dance at a different school. And so I've been able to get right back to horseback riding, of course, since therapeutic horseback riding was one of the first things I did. And that really helped me out in a physical and occupational therapy sense. I did all kinds of things in a bareback pad and like riding with my legs on either side of the horse and facing backwards and doing things with my upper body, like I would ride and hold a ball in both hands or a smaller one in one hand and move around and kind of like, well, I had private lessons starting out, and then I moved into group classes since I started my recovery with my parents in Illinois and then came back to Missouri later in the next year. And then I went to group therapeutic horseback riding classes again. And so we also would do carnival games on horseback too sometimes, like basketball or ring toss or bean bags.
Sounds interesting. Um, so like how other question here. So in terms of uh, like goals moving forward, like what are you looking forward towards like 2025, or what kind of
Family
like
trip to
goals for like 2025 for
and
doing this?
yeah, personal things are a family trip to Michigan, and uh, a business goal is to well, get more eyes on this show, of course, and expand my community. And a personal goal is to do as much as I can and optimize things health wise as much as possible
Yeah,
and keep my options open.
sounds good. See. And so oh, see. See what else here. Served. Uh, so if somebody has questions or anything like that, how would they be able to uh, connect with you?
My business address, email address is Paige Spears Speaking at gmail.com.
Yeah,
And I can drop the link to, I can send you the link to my Facebook group also.
sounds Sounds good.
And that can be included in the show notes. The group is the Choosing Greater Health Community.
Okay. So, see. So we only have like the Facebook group, but do we have like a LinkedIn group or anything like that as well? Or is it just the Facebook group?
Just Facebook group so far.
Okay. Uh, So, so with this, Choose Great Health, so it's just been since recoveries, they've been doing this, or was it sort of inspired anytime before that as well?
I've more recently, in the last year, opted to use it as my initial community hub.
Okay. And you see, maybe. Oh, so are you looking for a lot of, okay, here I can put that in the notes here. Okay, for different groups to be connected in this hub. Like, have you
Yeah,
gotten quite a few connected already?
yeah,
Or kind
I
of
have
what's
a
the
few
goal for
people.
the hub?
Yeah, yeah, some of my members are brain injury survivors and their caregivers, and a few are functional medicine professionals, and looking to expand that, yes.
So it'd be like providing um resources and other like support to everybody else in the
Yeah,
cover the
and
group.
I'll create the formal professional directory based on that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Kurt, is it you that's on here? That's where are they, that person? It's not in here. Let me see. So we got um and um so you got like a lot of like families and friends support here, all of this.
Yeah, and it would also be good to link that to my brain injury support group Facebook group.
All right.
We've had a handful of caregivers pop into that group recently, although most of that membership is in Missouri, a lot in Columbia, and a few in the other surrounding areas.
Okay. So are we looking at for this to be um, staying more in kind of the Missouri area, or are we looking to like expand to like more of the US and
I'll start
other
primarily
places?
in Missouri and expand from there.
Okay. Think there is. So yeah, this is exciting. So I think
It can only get better from here.
yep. Um, and
And March will be a big month with one every week for both brain injury and blood clot awareness.
yeah, there okay. Yeah, because yeah, that'd be some important things to be aware of and so on. So
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to that. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, if anybody is interested in being on the show or any of the other shows, please let us know. Um, and guess I've got a little bit here. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Paige, or say about what we're doing
Be
here, or
curious
what you're
and
doing, or
your options open.
yeah. So if you have any like last thoughts for if we can end here or anything like that.
Well, it's always good to stay curious and do a little research and keep your options open.
Yeah. So it's important. So I'd like to spin a great first show here. So excited to start a new show. And thank you everybody for tuning in. And it was we're here every first and third Friday of the month. And I love everybody to tune in to have a YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So if everybody did check those out and like, share, subscribe. Um, and also check out that stuff I'll be putting in the uh, comments and description and all of the other uh, people that we are working with, like Jay Stone, the Disability Channel, Zach Clayton of Tech Channel, Marcus Art of Transforming Media, Lawrence Wingate of Wingate Studios, Lemons of the Midwest Pennies Fun Podcast, and all the great work that they're doing. And guess until next time, hope everybody has a safe and productive week and to stay happy.